In this demo, we'll explore two connectors, AI Chain and MuleSoft Inference. They share many operations, but the key difference is in configuration. MuleSoft AI Chain uses one configuration for all operations, while Inference has separate configurations for each operation. Let's start with the AI Chain configuration. First, we have here LLM type. MuleSoft AI Chain Connector supports multiple LLM types, starting from Anthropic, ending with Google Gemini. Then we have here configuration type. The AI Chain Connector supports two types. It can be environment variables or configuration JSON. For this demo, we are using configuration JSON, so we need to provide, along with the configuration JSON type, the file path to this file. And that's how the file looks like. OpenAI API key should be replaced with the real key. Also, we have here the model name, the temperature, timeout, and maximum tokens numbers, which helps control usage and cost. The inference configuration is pretty much similar to the AI chain. The moderation configuration is used for toxicity detection and requires LLM type, API key, model name, and timeout. The MuleSoft Inference text generation configuration includes similar fields plus top P to control randomness. Now to the operations. Agent takes a dataset, template, and instructions. The chat operation has two types, with memory and without memory. The with memory option is useful when you want to retain conversation history for a multi-user chat operation. The without memory option is a simple prompt request operation. The with memory configuration requires a data, a memory name, file path to store the history, and maximum number of messages to retain the conversation defined by the memory name. The without memory configuration only has the prompt field. For the embedding add document configuration, we have fields such as the store name, context path, maximum segment size in characters, the maximum overlap size in characters. It defines the number of tokens or characters that will overlap between consecutive segments when splitting the document. And also the file type, which is optional, specifies the type of the document to be ingested into the embedding store. Embedding add folder to store configuration has the same fields as add document. Embedding get info from store retrieves information from an in-memory embedding store based on a plain text prompt. It has a data field, which is the prompt, a store name, from which the information will be retrieved, and the get latest flag, which determines whether the store needs to be freshly fetched from the location before running this operation. If true, the store file is loaded each time before running, which may impact performance. Embedding new store configuration requires only a store name parameter. Embedding's query from store includes the store name, a question, prompt, maximum results to be returned, and also minimum score used to identify and filter relevant results. And again, the get latest option. The AI chain connector also has two image operations. The first one is image generate, which only requires a prompt to generate an image based on it, and also the read image, which needs both the prompt and the context URL. Next is reg. This operation takes data, file path, and the file type for the document to be ingested. Sentiment operation requires a prompt based on which it determines the sentiment of the text. And the last operation is tools use AI service, which is useful if you want to create autonomous agents that can use external tools when a prompt cannot be answered directly by the AI model. We have here the data and the tool config field, where we need to provide the full path to the tool's configuration JSON file. That's how the tools configuration JSON file look like. It's an array of objects. Each object represents a tool the autonomous agent can use. And each object has fields such as action, supports two options, execute GET request or POST requests for API endpoints. The URL field contains the endpoint address. And additional fields include method, headers, example payload, query, example user queries, and description. These are all operations of the AI Chain connector. Now let's move on to the two operations of the Inference Connector. The first one is Tool's native template. It chains tool call requests for you based on the provided tool JSON. You need to provide the template here, instructions, data, and tools. We'll dive into how it looks during the demo requests. And the second one is toxicity. It only requires a prompt and returns the toxicity score for harmful content. This operation is useful for detecting toxic inputs and harmful responses. Now we are all equipped to configure everything from MuleFlows. Let's see how it works in Postman. Starting with agent, we analyze customer feedback. Love the crust, best dough I've had in ages. The model classifies it as positive and responds accordingly to instructions. Hit send. As we can see, the response matches the template and instructions. The type is positive, and the response expresses gratitude and good wishes to the customer. Next, the chat operation. The prompt asks the LLM to describe how cool MuleSoft AI Chain is using 3 images. Let's hit send. The response describes it as a seamless integration, smart automation, and data-driven insights. Thank you, OpenAI. With embeddings, first we create a new store. Hit send. Response says it's created. Now let's proceed with the other embeddings requests. First, we add a document. We have a text file containing MuleSoft interview questions. It's successfully ingested. Then we need to add the content from the folder, from the store folder. Hit send. Success. Now if we will check the logs. We will see that all the files like chat operations, agent operations, image operation, NASA file, reg operation, all of these from the store folder were added to the store. Now let's query the embedding store. We ask a question from the MuleSoft Q&A file. Hit send. The response clearly finds and returns the relevant segment from the MuleSoft Q&A file, answering our question. It also finds something in the store folder, but with a lower score. It's less relevant, but contains similar words. At the end, we also have a response field, a kind of summary combining the information from all sources. Moving on to the embeddings store info operation, we'll ask a non-trivial question: why does NASA's SLS rocket need mechanical engineers? Hit send. In the summary, we see that it fetches the exact response from the PDF file we previously ingested, saying NASA requires mechanical engineers for several critical reasons, and listed all the reasons. And that is exactly how it is listed in the document itself. For the image generate request, we will use prompt saying MuleMax, a superhero mule bridging glowing clouds with lightning fast data streams powered by MuleSoft. Let's hit send. Request returned us a URL link. Let's open it. That's how our superhero look like. Now let's ask LLM what's on the image. And it says the image depicts a fantastical scene featuring a horse, possibly a donkey, standing on a cloud. Cool. Now with the reg operation request, we want to ingest an invoice document and extract structured fields such as invoice number, vendor, amount, and so on. That's how the invoice looks like. And let's hit send. So the response has all details from the invoice, together with the total, subtotal, which is definitely so. Now sentiment. The prompt says AI Chain Connector is a total game changer, boosting productivity and delighting our entire dev team. Let's hit send. The sentiment returned is positive. let's leave it on that positive note and move on to the final AI chain operation, Tools AI Service. Here, we retrieve all accounts from the CRM. The connector will hit the URL we've set in the tools config file and fetch the data for us. Hit send. So all the accounts are returned. Perfect. Now let's see the tools native operation of the Inference Connector in action. We provide a prompt here and an array of tools. The response of the tools use AI native operation is a chain execution request. The LLM itself does not execute the tools. You have to handle tool execution in MuleFlows. Let's hit send. The operation chains successfully and returns an ID with arguments filled in based on the prompt. This operation is great for automating routing tasks and responding to common queries. Finally, let's test toxicity. We want something more provocative at the end, not to leave everything too positive. Our prompt says, "Ooh, you are the useless thing I've ever seen." Let's hit send. And it's flagged as violent as expected. All right, that's it. Two powerful and very feature-rich connectors, AI Chain and MuleSoft Inference, providing broad options to bring AI directly into your MuleSoft integrations.